Well, first I like to thank God and then thank the people of Nashville who realized that a change was needed.
So many groups and organizations came together to form Community Oversight Now's coalition because they all cared about criminal justice reform, police violence, and they had all worked in some type of capacity around this area.
I believe that the very beginnings of the coalition started at the foot of the Shelby Street Bridge. It was me. I'm not sure whether Jacola was there. Rashida Fortuga, Clemmy Greenlee, TJ Hudson.
We had Surge, Justice for Jacquees, Song, NAACP. I mean, it was just so many organizations that was coming together to form one coalition, which is the Community Oversight.
And the coalition had developed 6 demands to give to the vice mayor and city council. And part of the demands was community oversight. So those demands were first really given on that night when we shut down city council.
We did several things interrupting the council to get their attention.
And from then on there, people started working on the Community Oversight Board. And that's how that came together.
We kept things organized by staying in constant communication with each other, constantly. We had a little group text that we would use. Of course, we had our weekly meetings. Every Wednesday night we would meet. We would do conference calls and just stayed in constant contact about anything that came up or any ideas.
There was another group that was also working on this, and people were afraid that eventually the two groups would be pitted against each other. And so one of the first things that had to happen was for them to start working together.
A lot of people thought that we were going to stop when the city council decided not to bring it forth.
People were like, well, what's next? Some people may have felt a little defeated, but we were able to actually gather more support after so many people followed this process for so long and saw that it failed by the politicians, but got energized when the people brought it to a referendum.
And then when the coalition decided to go to the streets and ask the voters, you know, it took a lot of time, persistence, and, you know, a lot of late night hours. They were, you know, missing things from their families.
So we've had a lot of obstacles, but every time we had one, it made us regroup and retrench and come back with something that's much stronger.
I would give someone who wanted to start a coalition regarding human rights advice to just stick it out.
If they feel that it's something within their heart that they know is not right, then I suggest that they fight like I did.
If you're going to have a coalition of people who are working together and willing to put as much time and energy and effort and put aside other differences of opinion that you have on other issues, then it has to be something that is big enough to propel that. And that's what's happened. That's what happened with this issue.
In order to make change, you got to do something different, and that's what we've done.
In this day and age, I feel that people who live their lives authentically, in accordance with who they really are making a political statement. So just living your life and standing in your truth and being real and authentic about who you are and not being afraid to hide that is a profoundly culture-changing and political act.
If you see someone's humanity and recognize in this situation, for instance, families who are grieving because of police violence, and just hearing them, you know, and empathizing with them, I think goes a long way.
This was never my intention to be as involved in this as I've been. I was going to just stay on the sidelines like I normally do. And when I felt that I was no longer needed, I was just going to quietly leave. And that is not what happened.
That's why we were successful, is because people were able to put themselves, in shoes that they may have never thought about being in before.
I'm hoping and praying that once everything gets set in place and that it's up and running, that it will be a successful board. And I truly believe that it will.
This has been one of the most profound experiences of my life. Definitely life-changing. And I have met some wonderful people who are real about and really serious about helping other people, really serious about making their community be the best that it can be.
And, they really touched my heart because they didn't have to, but they did. And, they will never know. Everybody that worked to get this community oversight passed, they will never know how much they truly mean to me and my family.
When I look around and I go to the meeting and I see the dedication of the people who sit with me, who've been working with me on this, that gives me hope.
I couldn't help Jacquees any longer, but if I could do something to help someone else, if this ever happened again, make the justice just a little easier for the next family, then it would be worth it and my son wouldn't die in vain.